All right. Good morning. Welcome. Happy Saturday. Let's go to the browser. For anyone new, if you don't know, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I usually stream around this time each week working on some stuff related to CircuitPython. If you don't know what that is, you can learn more at the main website for it, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. You can, typically the way they work, I should say, is you plug it into your computer. It shows up like a thumb drive. You edit a Python code file on that thumb drive, and then when you save it, the computer that's on these little boards in the chip there will interpret and execute that Python code for you. There are lots of different ways to program microcontrollers. CircuitPython is just one of them, but it is the one that I work on here on this channel most frequently. As always, let's say thanks to Adafruit. CircuitPython is an open source project. Anyone's allowed to use it. Anyone is allowed to build products with it. You're allowed to add your own devices to it. You can make you can make your own hardware and then add support to CircuitPython to your hardware. You don't have to pay for a licensing fee. You don't have to pay anyone to do that. And Adafruit is the company that does pay the developers that actually work on the open source code that is CircuitPython, including myself. So huge thanks to them for doing that. And if you would like to help support CircuitPython and Adafruit, one of the easiest ways to do it is purchasing hardware from them on their website at adafruit.com. So today I am jumping in on some sort of library maintenance stuff. We got some updates for the display.io API changing. Before I dive into that, though, I am actually just going to pick up where we left off last night from Deep Dive, which is this request test. I'm going to get this cleaned up and PR'd, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. So if you did not catch Deep Dive last night, but you are watching this, if you want sort of the prequel, you can go back and watch it, but the very high-level quick version is that this is a test in the requests library. I worked on it yesterday to make a local server that it can hit instead of the remote server, http://bin.org. That way, if the remote server, which we don't control, obviously that's a third party, if that server is down or having trouble with service or whatever, our test is not dependent on it, so like our test won't be failing based on some third party's system, because now it just runs a little test server locally inside, right inside this test. It sends requests to its own little server there, and then when it's done, it just closes everything down. What's up? Good morning, C. Grover. Coffee cheers. We can get rid of this. So yeah, basically we did all the work on this server yesterday. I think where I left it, it was in a weird state, seemingly not quite working. I tinkered a little bit and got it working at some later point last night. The gist of it, the problem was we did not return the right headers, and the client side, if you don't return the right headers, gets unhappy, is the quick version of why it was weird yesterday at the very end of the stream. Once I got it fixed to actually send the appropriate headers, it now, it did what we wanted it to do right at the end of the stream there, which was actually proving that it would fail if the server returned the wrong thing. It was the case that it failed just as it should. And then I also, I believe, have now gone back to having it do the correct thing, which will make the test pass. Although, ironically, I did change the name of the file as well, and apparently did not update the import, so the test does fail for that reason at that particular moment. But if we just fix the import and run it again, I believe it should pass. And it did also fail when I had it return the other status code. So this is pretty much done, I think. We can kind of just clean up a little bit. If we need this. Need next, I believe. Yeah. Is that about requested status might be referenced before? I don't think so, because... Oh, okay, I see, actually. I guess the thing is, we would want to return from here, actually. If we were to get a value error, which would be if the user went to /status, because the way the server works, it's like /status/ and then a number, a status code, like 200 or 400 or 204, or any other status code. If they had passed status and then like /tree or something that's not an int, that would raise a value error. This would return an error. Without the return there, the rest of the code runs. And yeah, it was totally right about this could be basically null. But now it will return the error. It will return from the function, which means the rest of this won't run. Oh no, we already have end. Yeah, so then, yeah, that's what we want. We want to return early. That way we don't do the rest of this stuff. Theoretically, that shouldn't ever matter because this server exists for like 5 seconds while we send it 2 or 3 requests, and nothing else should ever really hit it. But get rid of the unused import there. We can run pre-commit. Oh boy. So sometimes my pre-commit fails because I have like built MPY files or something that don't have licenses. In this case, it's failing for a different reason, which is that we don't have. We have a file that doesn't have a license. Although in this case, it's like an actual. That's interesting. This is. I thought this got. I'm pretty sure this got just submitted recently. It's interesting. It's 2024. Okay, there we go. I guess one other thing that might make sense is like maybe we shouldn't be returning the wrong URL here randomly. I mean, it's not entirely clear to me why the code is checking that anyway. I guess we could change it to the actual URL. But I mean, it doesn't really matter what it returns. I guess if anything, it's best to just not just have a random third-party URL. It's like we're not really affiliated with them or anything. The URL is not getting used in this case. It's just existing as a response from the server. Kind of a fake response. But we could change it to be slightly less fake, but still overall fake. Sure, it passes still. Okay. And pre-commit too. I touched 3 files? I think this is not really my change. Yeah, this is Justin's change. Probably, oh, right. I'm not looking at the latest commit, so it's showing me all of those commits. Okay, I'm back up to speed now. It's like, I don't think I did that. Yeah, so when I'm looking at just one commit, the only two files I touched are the test and then the new file, which is the server. But I had not fetched or whatever. This branch was out of date, so it shows these other commits. Okay, we'll watch that. It doesn't pass. I can go back and try to fix it. Next up, I have a couple of sort of tests, like hardware tests, not test cases to look into. So I don't have the camera set up, so I can show you only the small version, but I have a Feather S2 that's been running on a battery overnight, running a test where it deep sleeps and then it wakes up and does a thing and then it goes back to sleep. And we are trying to find out if it's going to corrupt the flash, which it does not look like it did. Yeah, there's no like syntax errors. There's no file with a weird name. The code is back to running, so it presumably all the libraries are intact and not corrupted. Okay, so this one is on 10.00 alpha 6, and it is waking up, connecting to the Wi-Fi, creating the requests like context session thingy-madoodle there, but not actually using it. It creates this stuff and then it just ends up going right back to sleep afterwards. And the intention here was I was trying to narrow down whether the issue that I'm seeing stems from connecting to Wi-Fi versus like actually using the Wi-Fi to send data to Adafruit.io, which is the other test I have. So this one's on 10.06. It did not get corrupted, and it is not actually sending data. It's just joining the Wi-Fi, doing the session, and then not actually using it. And that basically ran for a full day almost. And I actually have a second one of these with a different battery and a different feather. Has also been running overnight. This one is on 9.2.8. 9.2.8, and it is also deep sleeping, waking up, connecting to the network, creating the request session, but it is also doing I/O stuff. So it creates I/O HTTP, and it sends a random number to Adafruit.io, and then it goes back to sleep. And it does this once a minute or so. This one is also not corrupted, it doesn't look like. Which leaves us with the ones that are getting corrupted are the ones, so far at least, they are the ones that are on 10.00 alpha 6, and they are sending data to I/O. So what we're going to do is actually go back to the other feather. Let's leave this one. It seems like this may be a regression because it seems like the 9.2.8.1 ran overnight and didn't have any problems, whereas the 10 alpha 6 one, when I was actually sending data, it was getting corrupted after maybe, it's tough to say after how long, but I checked it sometimes after 30 or 40 minutes and it was corrupted, sometimes after a couple hours and it was corrupted, once or twice even basically immediately after just switching back and forth between the battery once and letting it do the deep sleep a few times and then going back to the PC, it was corrupted after that. So I don't know the exact trigger or how long it takes, but it would be cool if we could kind of copy the other sort of thing action, wouldn't it? Need some imports, maybe. So now this 10.00 alpha 6.1 will be sending data IO, and like my hypothesis is, based on what I saw before, this one will eventually get its flash corrupted. It will run for a while. I'll switch it back to the computer. So I'm running it on battery when I'm testing it. I'll switch it back to the computer. And what it does most often is it creates an extra file that's not like real. It's an empty byte file with a weird broken like Unicode symbols file name. One time it did actually corrupt the code. Like it just kind of like weirdly inserted some broken stuff for a couple of characters in the code. But we'll see. So we'll save that. That would have ran. They seem like, oh, right. Okay, so we're missing a module. Install that. I think maybe, I'm not sure if auto reload. Actually, auto reload is on because these are pretty much fresh because I was formatting them after they got corrupted. Okay. So that woke up, connected, did its thing, sent some data to IO, and then went back to sleep. So I'm going to unplug it back from the computer, put it back on the battery. And I'm actually going to go plug the battery in because this one did not charge overnight, but it did make it. So I want its battery to charge back up today. And then I'll check on that later and see if it ended up corrupting itself or not. At this point, I would say hopefully it does, because I would like to get some kind of consistency out of it, although it is ultimately bad if it is corrupted. Okay, so next thing on my mind is... oh, nope, this did not pass, okay. This did not pass. Can't do this server thing in here, maybe. Why did we fail? Connection refused error. Ah, that's annoying. My best guess is there's some kind of like different rules about what network stuff we're allowed to do, so maybe we are starting up the server and it's like not actually starting it for us. It's kind of frustrating because like the test does work. Connection refused. I mean, so connection refused is, I think, literally what we would see if the server was not running, basically. So like if I took this code, we could have probably got rid of the print as well, I guess. But if I just ran this and I try to run the test, I think connection refused is what it's going to get because the server's not running. I think the server basically failed to start. But unfortunately, we don't really get to see like an error. Um, yeah. I'm guessing there's probably some like relatively arbitrary like GitHub Actions run TCP server. Guessing there's some like extra firewall rules or something. No, I don't. This mode. How to ensure the server is running. How to expose TCP localhost. I mean, I don't want to expose it though. Like, we're not trying to expose it to the internet. I'm trying to just be able to let it see itself. Is npipe what that does? Is it possible to run a server on the host? No. Um. It's kind of tough to like do this blind too, because we don't get like server failed to start. Here's the error. We get just like evidence that the server didn't start. How can we like debug, troubleshoot, diagnose server half of this? Well, that would have been good to know about, maybe. I mean, I don't want to change at this point to a different thing. But that's interesting that there's one built into the testing thing. See, this is still a bit different, though, I think. Is it? Maybe not. Well, okay. It's not that different. I was going to say, like, at first I thought maybe there was a step here that was launching the server. That's not actually the case, though. It's just doing PyTest, and then inside the test, it's basically just extending the server. I mean, do we have to change to that? It would be a shame to just throw away what we did. Okay. Yeah. So vote this person, first of all. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay. Well, never mind. The Docker file for the test server listening on the port. See, but that's different, though. I don't want to do that. The outside world should stay outside. I don't have any interest in the outside world. Should we try maybe just 127? Maybe like localhost doesn't exist? Is that a thing? Could that be possibly a thing? Or blank? Maybe blank has some magic that makes it work somehow? Maybe if we do this instead? Alright, it works locally. Let me delete this. Don't really need this. I don't think we can even see that output anywhere anyway, so. Try 7. Recommit. Okay. Hopefully that will pass. But while it does its next chunking along there, we will look at the next thing, which is updating libraries for old display.io APIs. So display.io.4wire, this will not exist anymore soon, or already doesn't actually if you're on like 10 alpha. And so we need to update these. Oops. Already exists. Okay. 1351. I'm going to do a new window because necessarily have a great feeling about the request thing working, but we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So that's interesting. I actually already have a branch here called Display.io API Updates 3 days ago. Did I fail and not do one? That would be kind of lame. I thought I searched these. Interesting. Those are already updated. So why did we find fresh? This is in README. Oh, I didn't update the README. That's annoying. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. Update. That's actually, it's weird. I wonder how I managed to not update the README, because what I was doing was git grep, which should have found it. Guess that one's not linked. Maybe I didn't go and do it since it wasn't linked. Oh, that's README, not the main doc string. Oh, it passed. Hallelujah. I'm not going to question it. That makes no real sense to me, because, like, as far as I know, blank and localhost and 127001 all are essentially doing the same thing, I would have thought, but I guess that's not the case. And blank and localhost work for me on my computer here, but not in the action container, and 127 does. That I am grateful. Sweet. All right, and now we basically go through the list. OV7670. Oh, you know what I guess I should have done while, while I'm here? Say the thing that got me into this mess, I guess, last time is... You know what I eventually started doing was searching for display.io dot and then just kind of scanning this list, because all of those, they existing, okay. We have no... C display, no e-paper display, no display. All of those got changed. I might have OV, got a bunch of the OV ones already. Let's see if I have that one. 7670, yeah, I do. What's up, Tithe? Is this some 4-wire refactor? Just joined a few minutes ago, but without sound. Got sound now. Yes, so this was in, I think actually, like, it's been a little while now. Back in 8, I think 8x or very, very early 9x. In the core, there was a change in CircuitPython core where display.io kind of got split up more. Like display.io.4wire is that used to be a thing, and now it's in its own module. There's 4wire.4wire. So essentially what it did is like break apart some of the stuff that was in display.io so that it doesn't need to be anymore. And as I understand it, the main upside is it made it so like devices that know they're only going to use a certain kind of screen could save some flash space, because you could, for instance, like have the stuff you need for an e-paper display, but not like a a Pico DVI display, or not a an I2C display or something. So you could get a little bit of flash space back by having those modules all split up. And there can be individual toggles now for the different ones as well. Display.io was one main toggle in the core in the build, but now you can do like e-paper versus 4wire for SPI displays, or I2C bus for I2C displays, and so on. And so that's already done in the core. There was a warning for a long time, but the warning is actually taken out now as well for 10, the 10 alpha. And so the libraries need to be updated. Only 4wire. Should have none. Now if we search that again, we can pre-commit. We can also just realize that I didn't bother doing anything with branches, so we were just kind of randomly on a branch. Let's update main and try to make a new branch from that and hope that it doesn't go too far sideways. Okay, could be worse, certainly. Oops. Okay, so I have only origin, which is like most likely probably Adafruit. Although it's named origin unhelpfully, so we don't actually know for sure. But what we will do is, okay, yeah, it's definitely not me because I don't have one, so let's fork that. This did pass. Oh, I could also go back and release the ones from yesterday. I did a bunch of these yesterday as well. Well, not a bunch, I did a handful of these yesterday. That got merged and could be released. There's this copy. And helpfully, PyCharm gives me the ability to just add a new remote right here before I commit. So I can just say add FoamyGuy, and then we can choose FoamyGuy as a remote. It doesn't fetch, and so it shows like every commit from ever, but that's fine. We can just push and it will likely only be the newest one, I'm pretty sure. This 4wire change. Do we still need display? Yeah, because there should be display.io.release displays still. Yeah, okay. So we need display import, display.io. We can't get rid of that, but we also need 4wire now, and then they're all updated. Next one is ST7735. ST7735. Ooh, there's an R also, interesting. One of these days I'm going to try to alias this to where -n is just the default somehow. All right, yeah, this must be what happened with the README is because, like, see, the Python codes are clickable. I can just click it, it takes me there, but the README is not. I bet on that other one that I didn't do, it probably came up in my search and I overlooked it. Due to it not being, I almost put foamy guy, due to it not being, I think I still have this pasted, yeah. None of those. We got that. Pre-commit. You did the branch thing again, although strangely I have, this is another one where I'm already on a branch with that name, which makes me think that I failed this on the last one again. Goodness gracious. Yeah. I updated one reference, but not the rest. So this one I must just not have git grepped at all, I guess. I don't know. I was like, I've been working from this code search list and I can only search one thing at a time. So like I did display first and then I2C display and now I'm on 4wire. But I was trying to like grep all the different ones in each repo. It just apparently got some skipped. Yeah, so here's what I'm gonna do is update main and then merge main into this. And then just reuse this branch again. Green. What was it? SE7735. Weekly meeting we don't care about. That's like old code. Interestingly, that's talking about the change that's here that we're now doing. This is from 2023. Gizmo. I don't know if I have that one cloned. Or have that. Just in case. Alright, so this is in the library. And yeah, it still needs display because it's still going to call that. This is the same file. HD Gizmo. Oh. Those shouldn't get any hits on display or I2C display. check anyway. I'm just on main. Thinks that makes sense. I remember something about this one looking at parallel bus displays. Yep. Similar, yeah, like I think parallel display bus or something. Yeah, there's a module for that one as well. And it's a same deal where it used to be in display.io. Fetch. Guy. New branch. And readme, I mean, I've already grepped, so nothing else. I was gonna say readme, even if it has sample code, shouldn't be relevant because this is like a higher level library. The readme would be like initializing Gizmo, not 4wire probably. Okay. I don't know why I had so much stuff. Oh, because, yeah, I already did have a fork. That's right. I didn't make a new fork. That's right. Yeah, okay. I think I did fetch, but it doesn't matter because my fork was way out of date anyway. That's why we had a bunch of extra commits in that window. Even though there's actually only one new one. Display text. An example. All right. Branch first this time. Out main, update main, branch. This time it's failing reuse because I have a random extra file that's not actually part of the PR. That was for something else I worked on a while ago. I'm not going to delete it because I don't feel like it, but it's not checked in, so it's not going to fail when I push. Plan at least. I also have temp.txt sitting there, which also probably doesn't have a license. So I could put a license in that file and then it wouldn't fail. That'd be a way to do it. We could just open it from here, actually. Wait for it to go green. Featherwing. That one's 50-50. I don't know if I have it cloned. Let's try. Nope, I didn't. And actually, I should get... That's another thing I should alias one of these days, if I can figure out how, is... you can pass -- origin to change the name of the origin. So if you do git clone, paste your URL, and then -- origin Adafruit, it will... Instead of calling the default remote origin, it will call it Adafruit. Usually what I want. That's where I cloned it from. New branch. Rep. Display. C display. E-paper display. I have not actually been searching for parallel. A bus display? Well, it would have been under... Well, it... Maybe did parallel bus exist before? And that one I forget about, parallel bus. But I think, so this is latest. If I go... Oh yeah, why can't we do versions here? I want to do versions. How come I can't do like 9? I guess 9 is stable. But it's already in stable 2 though. I want to see the old docs. I don't know. Doesn't... Oh, this is Blinka Display IO, I guess. But I mean, still Blinka Display IO has a bunch of versions. Builds here, I guess. I could go back to older ones, maybe. At the end of the day, though, we do actually want CircuitPython itself, not Blinka. I don't know how to spell parallel correctly the first time. Sorry. LLEL. 1R, 1R, 2 Ls. Dot clock. Rain buffer. Okay. Oh, okay. This one does have these, actually. That's interesting. I wonder if we could get that for Blinka too. Blinka, I guess, doesn't get new versions maybe as frequently, like major new versions. Okay, so that existed there. Did not exist for 8. So really what I want to do is go to 8 and then go to display IO and then parallel. Did we have anything? Oh, there was parallel display already. We are in 8x. Okay, so that one I think existed before the split. Yeah, basically that was the first bus that had its own module. I2C display was in display IO and 4-wire was in display IO. They both moved now, but they used to be. This also moved to bus display. And then, but parallel bus was different. You know, though, what this does mean is that I forgot parallel bus on this other thing I did. I recently just added this type in CircuitPython typing, and I did not put... Oh, but that's a bus, not a display, though. That would use bus display, I think. It would use bus display. Make sure. Bus display. Say anything about parallel? I'm pretty sure it would, right? Because this is display bus, but then display bus would be... Yeah. Okay. We should maybe have a display... I mean, we should have a display bus type as well. Actually, that'd be convenient too. Yes. Maybe it wouldn't be as convenient at the Python layer because you're less likely to be... Like, usually you're making a driver that's taken one of these, not any of them. Python level, but... looks like Dan's going through merging some of these. Okay, so we could do some releases in a minute. Okay, yeah, no, so that I was wrong about this. This doesn't need to change. That was fine. Where was the last one we did? It's approved. Just wonder if it or no. Code search. Featherwing. Did we PR Featherwing? Might not actually. It looks like I didn't push yet. Grep. I did change these. Pre-commit. Have a branch. The map saver. Have that one, I think. I don't totally, definitely super duper did not mean to do that. Why is update right next to push? Dang it. Well, I didn't have any changes anyway, so I suppose it doesn't matter, but it's kind of a good thing that it asks you. Oh, interesting. This is one of the few that has MyPy already. Like an config file. I don't know why ID is taking kind of long sometimes like this. I think there's like sometimes it shows you a thing that's like file something something may be slow, go change this setting or whatever to make it better. I don't know if I ever did that on this computer this go round or not. Not, it's probably worth trying to figure out what that is. It's not popping it up though, so I don't Maybe that means it's done? Oops. Try updating, I guess, as well. I'm kind of out of date at this point. Oops. I already have both remotes. Monster mask. Watch, I'm already gonna have it. Oh, no, okay. So there we go. So this time it should have the remote named Adafruit from the jump, and then I can just add Foamy Guy. Thought for sure, since I typed extra stuff, it was just gonna be one I already had cloned. I don't think I copied that. Run pre-commit and didn't make a branch. TSC 2007. That rings a bell. I'm gonna see if I have it. No. Okay. Is this feeling repetitive yet? STMP E610. I guess I can't really just alias. I suppose what I would need is like Ada. Oh, you know what? I already have an Ada clone. I've already literally been down this road and I have adaclone.sh, which does exactly that. Nice. Good job, Tim. Only I could remember all of the ways that a past Tim has tried to help me out sometimes. Button demo. I don't think I did the import. That other one. I don't know why I'm doing the full word display, but only the first few letters of ITC display and ePaper display. Branch. Why is this unused? So that's a different. I think this one can be, there's two different feather wings, maybe with two different displays or something. An old one and a new one. The chip got commissioned or whatever. Doesn't matter if we use underscores or spaces, but whatever. That. The other song that I usually skip. That. Display button, display shapes, EK79, E5, box demos? I'm less familiar with. I guess we will probably need a fruit. So I don't know what this one is really, but that's commented out. I already did this, I thought. Just tell me I didn't miss another one in there. I mean, I grepped, right? Grep? Really, that. Surely I did not. $34 of TFT Shield 18, GCM 8. Yeah. Okay. Did forget to do this though. That was a sign, a reminder from the universe. And then blink a pipe. Okay. Oh, but there is still another page. Darn. I was trying to like get a peek ahead and see how much more we were looking at, but display button. Display button. Oh, that's interesting. I did -n, but it did not linkify. I wonder if it's mad because of how long it is. It opened over there. Hey bro, what are you doing? What's up? First of all, thanks for tuning in. I am working through a list of basically deprecated code and updating it to the new version. If you haven't watched before, the kind of core project that I work on typically on my stream is CircuitPython, which is like a way to program microcontrollers. And in the CircuitPython core, some of the APIs got deprecated and are being removed. And so I'm going through the libraries and removing or updating the code to use the new API instead of the old one. And then, yeah, let me know if that doesn't make any sense or not. I can expand as needed, but it kind of depends, I guess, a little bit on your familiarity with CircuitPython or not. But polygon fill. I want to start a career in Python, but I'm confused. So guidance, probably what guidance about which domain am I choose? Guidance would I give for someone who wants to start a career in Python? Honestly, my biggest piece of guidance to start a programming, so first of all, I would say, like, in my mind, the career is kind of programming or software development. Python is one thing that you might do for some part of your career, or maybe even as a major part of something you do for your entire career. But it's like not super likely, I don't think, that you'd go through an entire career and work on only one sort of like language or one way of programming. If you're wanting to start your career, it totally makes sense to focus on one thing. And I am biased, but I certainly believe Python is a good one to focus on. But one thing I would say is maybe like broaden your thinking a little bit and be open to other programming languages as well. And then honestly, my biggest piece of advice is like practice. Like in my opinion, it takes a lot of practice to be to like learn programming and kind of understand it on a level to where you can apply it to generalized problems that you receive throughout a career, like data science, AI, ML, or any other field. Yeah, I mean, focusing on the fields, like on a specific field, a good way to kind of like look for jobs, I guess, and look for skills that are relevant to specific jobs. But like my opinion is a lot of those fields kind of come and go rather quickly. So if you are putting time into a specific field like that, um, like sometimes it may not be around too long, right? Because like if you had come by, 2 or 3 years ago, like there might have been like crypto on that list, for instance. Um, and crypto is a little bit less of a career choice these days, and I think like AI is having a big boon right now, but I would not be surprised if a lot of companies, AI companies, don't end up making it. Data science, I think, is a good thing to focus on if you want to learn Python. Like lots of scientific work, lots of scientists who do actual like experiments and science work happen to know Python because they can apply it to the data they get from their experiments. So if you can be like a programmer who's able to, you know, take a scientist's like perhaps rough, data manipulation code and clean it up or visualize it in a better way or make it more efficient when needed because the data set's too large. Like I think those are definitely things you could potentially build a career on. I will say it's not a career that I've ever been into, so I'm not probably the best suited to really give any advice or anything on sort of that front. But yeah, I mean, frankly, like my biggest piece of advice, if you're just trying to get in still currently, it's like practicing a lot. So if data science is something that interests you, like find an open source data set and practice doing stuff with it a lot. Or if AI ML interests you, then work on Python code that is in libraries related to them or that's built on top of them. Like a lot of practice is my biggest piece of advice, basically. Have a branch already. We got the changes. We passed pre-commit. Grep 4-wire. Yep, there's none left. I don't even know what this is. Display driver. It's an e-paper display. Interesting. Oh, okay. We're going to use it. Look at that. Bam. Oh, already exists. Never even heard of it before, but I already cloned it. How does that make any sense? Maybe I heard of it before, I guess, but certainly don't remember. And I already have my own branch. That's a good sign. Let's see. What are we on? Use rough. Oh, okay. So I already tried, actually, to remove this once, but again, looks like I didn't do a thorough enough grepping. See, this is weird, though, because it's like I did a bunch of these, and it didn't really ever pop this up, but then sometimes I do, and it's like taking quite a bit longer. Yeah, it's worth trying to. Maybe I should update. Part of me is kind of interested in trying Microsoft's new editor, the terminal editor. Another, perhaps smaller part of me is interested in trying to learn enough Rust to like hack around on the code base for it. Because I am aware of Rust, but haven't ever done much with it personally. Okay, here's actually some bits that could be removed. Did I ever update main before I made a new branch? Yeah, because we were waiting on it, right? Yeah, sure. Except 4-wire is actually only used for a type in this. It was together in one import before. I guess that's fine. Technically, though, we don't actually need 4-wire at runtime on CircuitPython. So we can block it by this, and then typing will fail, and then we won't import it. So we'll save a little bit of RAM. Oh no, why is this on Pylint? Does that mean I didn't update main? Didn't update main. Wait, that's kind of a bummer. Ugh. Or enroll back, go to main, check out, update main. Guess that's what we want. Main already updated. Just gonna delete that and start over. It's weird to me though. I know we were waiting. Was it just opening this file maybe? Opening this project? That should be. Okay. Fix this again. Okay, that was already changed in main. We can do the typing thing though, because again, this is only used in one spot, and it's only for typing. Technically, it doesn't need to import on the microcontroller. Okay, the README, it looks like stayed, which is nice. Okay. I don't know why, because I did like port and roll back, which I would have thought would roll back. There we go. Rough failed, but we just run it again. It formatted and made it happy. Rep-n. No. It's Twitch chat. I will say, like, props to YouTube. It used like there was a while where I didn't even look at YouTube chats, didn't even entertain YouTube chats because there was just awful spam that was so obviously spam that it was like not even worth having open. Now, YouTube is better about it. There's not nearly as much straight up like, this is obviously spam, and a toddler could tell you that on YouTube. But Twitch is like, I think almost every time I stream, I get at least one like, please buy viewers. Would you like to buy viewers? Best rate for viewers. Oh. Cool, actually. I think I'm good. They kind of switch spots. Or maybe Twitch was always like that, I guess, because that's not really an uptick, is it? That's just kind of Twitch always did that. YouTube got better. I don't know. It's kind of a shame that Twitch can't like catch that. I feel in a similar vein to where it's like, this is so obviously spam that I don't understand how some kind of automated thing doesn't catch it. But... Okay, we're getting close to the end of this page, but there's another page. I'm gonna peek at the other page. So PyPortal is there. More AdaBox, SSD. So this is a Featherwing we did. Display shapes we did also. I don't know why these are showing up. I guess because it's a different file. I don't know why it wouldn't put them together. That's kind of weird. I think we did this too, right? ST set. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that. Okay, so really new ones are like FT, but I'm pretty sure that's on the previous page also. This one, I think, is not on the previous page. Maybe. Should have did that too. Yeah, because Blink had changed as well. In fact, actually. This one will be tricky. I don't think I'll be able to run Pylint as is. I already have a fork. There's 0 forks, but oh, there's 0 forks in mine. I see. Okay, I see. Is there not still 1 fork? It came from Adafruit? I don't know, that's weird. I'm surprised there's no release displays here. Maybe it's somewhere else, I guess. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this will not work. Because it's going to use Pylint, and it's going to use an old version of Pylint that cannot, well, that does not work under my version of Python 3.12. I don't know if it necessarily, like, can't. There's some way it could, but it doesn't for me, and it doesn't inside actions. Actually, that might be a problem. It's going to be inside of actions because it's 3x, which I think is going to give it 3.12. We'll see. I don't think any of that is with my change, so I'm gonna just that and assume that hopefully we're good. Yeah, this might fail in the actions too, actually, I think. Because I think 3.x now is going to be 3.12, but maybe wasn't in the past. And the last time this would have ran actions was a long time ago. I don't know about AdaBox demos. I've never actually seen this repo before. Oh, interesting. Spoiler alerts, maybe for the new ones. I don't know. When we did, I thought. EK, didn't we do that one? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I think I have had about as much updating as I can take in one sitting. Why don't we go and do releases, and then I think I'll wrap it up after that. Okay, that was merged. Need to make a new release. I've been doing minor release for this, even though like technically it would be a breaking change, but only if you're on like CircuitPython 8 at this point, which is I don't consider supported, so therefore I don't consider the change breaking really. So for all of these I've been doing minor numbers. Because like if you're on the stable release or even the upcoming release, then it's not a breaking change. All right, and then that one was technically breaking because the name of the function changed. Display text. That. Oh. Okay, yeah, this is one of the ones that I actually just missed it on, so pretty much it's gonna have more or less the same basic premise in the title as the last release, but Okay, this one failed. Yeah, it's gonna fail because it can't run Pylint under Python 3.12, which is what it's trying to use. So either this needs to update to a newer Pylint, or it needs to convert to Ref, one of the two. Or it needs to use an older Python, but I don't consider that a real option. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I do sometimes, like, it is more typical to go about 2 hours. We're only at 90 minutes right now, but I think I'm about 4-wire updated out, even though there are still a handful of them left to do. But I'll wait until I'm got some more gas in the changing tank, and then I'll finish off the rest of these. There's not that many. I think there's probably less than 10 at this point as far as different repos. So, yeah. So thanks for hanging out. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day, good rest of your weekend. I'll be back at the normal time next Friday for Deep Dive. I should be back as well at the normal time on Saturday for my stream here, 10 a.m. Central Time. Yeah, until then, farewell and have fun.